Hi guys.
Hi everybody.
Hello.
Hi everybody. Hi everybody.
This is Noah, Alistair, Ian. Living in lockdown. He's loving it. He can't wait to meet all you guys one day, maybe next year. But he's going well. He's 1 month old now, and he's very happy to be here. Aren't you, buddy? Anything to say for us?
Hi everyone, this is Hayley. She's already 3 lockdowns old and, as you can tell, a massive Melbourne fan. And everyone remembers Everly, who's almost 2. It's been tough in lockdowns, but it's been really rewarding as a dad being able to spend a lot more time with all the girls and witnessing some of their first milestones and everything. But we miss everyone and we look forward to seeing everyone soon when it's all over. And happy Father's Day to all the dads out there.
Hi, my name's Patrick and this is my little amazing son Joshua. He's nearly 6 months old and he's our little surprise package. We thought we were done with 2 kids, but here's our 3rd and we couldn't be happier. I just love so much about him, and he's just always smiling, always bringing so much joy to our house. And given lockdowns, you know, there's hard times, but you know, being home a lot more and seeing this little guy grow and just seeing our kids have fun together, it's just a huge blessing.
Hi, I'm Daniel Schenker and these are my 2 little kids, Amelia and Elias, and I'm very blessed to have the 2 of them in my life.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Eli.
Yes. Head.
Yeah, Eli's head.
This is Maeve. She's 15 weeks old. She loves to sleep and she's just started giggling. We can't wait for you to meet her.
Hi church.
Hi church.
My name is Charles, or Chuck as some of you would know me. And this is Esther, she's nearly 12 weeks.
My name's Sadie.
This is number 3, which is really great because we didn't enjoy our sleep anyway. I love being a dad because it is very nice to come home and have 3 children smile and say I love you. It is really nice. It's busy, but it's nice.
Is there something you wanted to say, Sadie?
Happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day.
It's Father's Day, not
It's
Mother's Day. You say Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day, I preach.
Happy Father's Day, everybody. It is so good to be with you. Wasn't it great to be able to see some of our new additions to the church and some of the funny things that go on within our homes? We want to celebrate this day with all of you. Some of you, this is a day of remembering your dad who's already passed on. For some of you, this is a day to just reflect on God's goodness as a loving father. And for some of you, this is the day to celebrate your dad who is with us. We are so appreciative of the dads that are in our world, and so right now we have an opportunity all this morning to say some good things about dad. We're going to hear some great dad jokes from terrific dads, and we're just blessed to be with you. We're going to come to a time of worshiping together. This is pre-recorded worship, so we're within the rules, but God bless you as we just take this time to worship God.
Let's sing. Joy, there's a joy in my soul. I can't explain it, but I know it's you. Light, oh, I'm feeling so light, like a weight has been lifted by you. And Jesus, you are my breakthrough. Hey. It's you. Let's sing this together. Now The enemy's defeated. Sing this out. Jesus has won. No weapon formed against me will overcome. The enemy's defeated. Jesus has won. No weapon formed against me will overcome. The enemy's defeated. Jesus has won. Now I'm free. Yeah. There is nothing holding me. I'm free. Yeah. 'Cause he died and rose for me. Now I'm free. Yeah. There is nothing holding me. I'm free. Yeah. 'Cause he died and rose for me. The enemy's defeated. Jesus has won. The enemy's defeated. Jesus has won. One more time. The enemy's defeated. Jesus has won. Oh, the enemy's defeated. Jesus has won. Oh, we give you all the praise this morning. Oh, you're worthy to be praised. Oh, we thank you, Jesus. We're so grateful for you, Jesus.
Welcome to Vantage Point Church. It is good to be with you this morning. My name's SUNIL, mature dad SUNIL, here, one of the dads here at Vantage Point Church and part of the SEPT team. And it is my honour to welcome you to this online virtual Father's Day experience. We hope you are enjoying this service so far. You're taking part in it. And we have much more in store for you. Now, kids, I've got a special announcement for you. We have got a special event for you to take part in this morning, which is to make the ultimate bacon and egg burger. Church, we want to thank you for this season of your giving. We have just really appreciated seeing you give, and we just encourage you to continue to give. If you see the world's message, they're trying to see what they can take during this season. What's in it for me? What can I take? And we learn through the stories of the Bible that it is more blessed to give than it is to just see what you can take and what you can receive. You know, it says in Proverbs 21 verse 26, all day long he craves for more, but the righteous give without sparing. We appreciate your giving and we want to give you more opportunities to give just like below. So, church, thank you and continue to give. All right, just one last thing to remember. We have an amazing event coming up soon for all of our VPC serve team. If you serve in any capacity, we would love to see you on the 15th of September. So save the date, get those diaries out right now, write down the 15th of September, serve team night. It is going to be awesome. Online, it's going to be heaps of fun, but we're going to connect together as a serve team. So please make yourself available and you can find out more details soon on the VPC website. Now, what would Father's Day be without Father's Day jokes? For all those soon-to-be fathers, this is an initiation. Let's check out the clip now.
How much does a chimney cost? Nothing, because it's on the house.
Our dog used to chase people on a scooter a lot. It got so bad we had to take his scooter away.
Hey Mark, did you hear about the baked beans?
No.
They travelled all around Australia and ended up in cans.
Why do dads take 2 pairs of socks when they play golf? In case they get a hole in one.
Mark, did you hear about the wall?
No.
I won't tell you because you'll never get over it.
Tell you the story about God in the parking lot. Well, there's this man, he's driving around and he's struggling to find a car parking spot. So in frustration, he says, Lord, if you find me a car park spot, I'll promise I'll give up the drink and I'll go to church every Sunday. Suddenly the sun shines and the clouds part and there the sun shines onto a vacant car spot. And without hesitation, he says, "It's all right, Lord, I just found one."
Which faster, hot or cold?
Not sure. Which one?
Hot, because you can't catch cold.
Can't believe Mark got me to do this. So, here we go. Why did the Scarecrow get an award? He was outstanding in his field.
What about an Italian dad joke? What do you call fake pasta? What else? An impasta.
Guys, I'm really worried about the calendar. Its days are numbered.
Here's another one for you. How long does a jousting tournament last? Until nightfall. And lastly, I gave away all my batteries, free of charge.
Hey Mark, did you hear about the French? Did you really know why they liked snails?
No.
Well, they don't like fast food.
Why did the monkey put a steak on his head? He thought he was a griller.
Hey guys, just a quick update. John Travolta has actually tested negative to coronavirus, which is great. Turns out he had Saturday night fever, but still concerned because of his chills are multiplying.
Oh, listen, I've got to tell you, there were some really good dad jokes in amongst that bunch, and I thought this morning that I might need to bring you some dad jokes, but we're so glad that our team and some of our dads have been able to do that, so I'm not going to add any dad jokes onto it today. I just want you to know it really does take a lot of guts to be an organ donor. So there you go. There's my only one I'm going to tell you, just because I couldn't resist. So thank you to the dads, and thank you to the worship team and everybody who's made today such a beautiful day. This morning I've got a message for our dads. You should all have received your dad bag, your dad pack. Stay there for a moment, right where you are. Stay there. This is what you should have received. So if you haven't got yours, you'll be pleased to know that mine, I made an announcement that I do like barbecue chips with a little slice of cheese on top of it, a nice mature cheddar on top of it. So if you didn't get your dad bag, we want to know. We want you to text it to us and we'll make sure we get it to you. If you're visiting or new online, we'd love to be able to connect with you. So God bless you to all the dads. I want to talk about the strength to carry. I want to spend the next 20 minutes just talking about the strength to carry. And this is a message for our dads. It's a message for everybody. You know, sometimes on days like this, we can tune out a little bit thinking it's for somebody else, but this is a message for anyone who has a responsibility or a leadership within the home, whether you are older, whether you are younger, wherever you are. I want to encourage you. This is a message for you, but particularly for our dads. And I want to start in the book of Mark. There is a story about a dad who so loves and cares for his son, who is really doing it tough. He's doing it tough spiritually, emotionally, and physically. And he comes to Jesus and he says, Jesus, this is what's happening with my son. And he says, I'm desperate. I need you to help me. And he says to Jesus, if you can believe for this. And Jesus replies and says something in Mark chapter 9, verse 23. It says, it's not whether I can, it's if you can believe for this. So this dad had wanted to put it onto Jesus to deal with his son. But Jesus replies and says, actually, Dad, you have the opportunity. If you can do this, if you can believe, because all things are possible to them that believe. Let me encourage you with that thought today. All things are possible to them that believe, to the ones who believe. And so what Jesus replies to this dad with is, Dad, you actually have what it takes. It's possible for you. If you have faith, this can be your story. And instead of it being Jesus' moment, he puts it back to the Father. And there's a beautiful thing about that. And the big idea that I want to, give to all of us who are dads, all of us who are lead in any form in our homes. And again, if your dad has already gone on or you're not a dad this morning, the principle still applies. To the mums, this principle applies. But it is simply this. As parents, as an older generation, we carry the responsibility for our families, and we have got what it takes to do it well. Let me tell you, Dad, in this season, You might have felt like, I'm so tired of this. I'm exhausted by this season. I'm challenged by this season. Some of you, you're managing with your wives or your partners, you're managing homeschooling and all the stuff that goes into it. And I just simply want to say this to you. You, Dad, have got what it takes. God has enabled you to do it. And just like Jesus said to the dad, hey, Dad, you can do this. I want to say to you that I think Jesus is saying to you, hey, Dad, you can do this by faith. You can do this. You've got this. And that you are responsible for how that now works in your family. I want to go to the Old Testament, off the words of Jesus, go back into the Old Testament, into the book of Numbers chapter 7. I'm going to read it for you in a moment. But let me set it for you here. Moses is talking about a tent of meeting. Let's imagine for a moment that they're building a gigantic outdoor church in a tent, okay? And in this space, he calls it the dwelling. It's the tabernacle. It's how God meets with the people. It's old church, if you like, and there's a lot in this which I don't have the time to get into today. But I want to read something for you from the book of Numbers. And if you're new to church, this is in the Old Testament. So this is from creation up until the birth of Jesus Christ. So Jesus hasn't come yet. And I want to read this to you in the book of Numbers. And I want to show you, hidden in what looks like the real fine print, hidden in the details, is an extraordinary principle that we have today. It says this in Moses chapter 7, verse 1. And when Moses finished setting up the dwelling, the tabernacle, the meeting place, he anointed it and consecrated it along with all that went in it. At the same time, he anointed and consecrated the altar and its accessories. And they presented, the leaders of Israel, it says here in verse 2, presented, the heads of the ancestral tribes, presented before God. Now listen to this. 6 covered wagons. It's like the Old West. 6 covered wagons, 12 ox, and a wagon from each pair of leaders, and an ox from each leader. So what you want to see is there's 6 wagons, and then there are 12 oxen, and a wagon would be pulled by 2 oxen. So what these leaders of the different heads of the tribes do is when Moses has built this place, they come and they bring a gift to him. It's like a housewarming present, if you like, and they say, here's a gift, here is a housewarming present. Now I want you to go down with me to verse 6. So we see them bringing these gifts, this housewarming present. It's like a modern day or an olden day crock pot, and they kind of give it to them in their house. But it goes on, it says this: Moses took the wagons and the oxen and gave them to the Levites. He gave 2 wagons and 4 oxen to the Gershonites and for their work. He gave 4 wagons and 8 oxen to the Merarites for their work. They were all under the direction of Ithamar, the son of Aaron the high priest. Moses didn't give any to the Kohathites, because they had to carry the holy things for which they were responsible on their shoulders. So Moses sets up this tabernacle, okay? He sets up this tabernacle, and they come and they bring the gifts, and the Levites, who he then gives the gifts to, is one of the tribes that is responsible for the spiritual welfare of the nation of Israel. So Moses takes these gifts, these housewarming gifts, and he goes and he gives them to those who are responsible for the spiritual welfare of the nation. Now Levi has 3 sons: Merari, Gershon, and Kohath. Great names. I don't know why they don't make a comeback in our list of top 10 names that we use today. I don't know. I've had 5 boys. I should have called one of them Merari, another one Gershon, another one Kohath. But anyway, so he's got these 3 sons. And when they move the tabernacle, because remember it's portable, they pick up the tabernacle, the tent of meeting, the dwelling place it's called, and they would move it around. Each one of Levi's sons had a responsibility. So the Merarites were responsible for the support structures, the tent pegs, the ropes, the frames, and all of that part. The Gershonites were responsible for the actual tent itself. So the Merarites would take all of the stuff that held the tent up. The Gershonites were responsible for the tent itself, and the Kohathites were responsible for all the furniture in it. So as they bring this oxen in, as they bring it in, or as the South Africans call it, biltong, they actually come in, and he says, righto, to those who are responsible for the tent pegs and the structural stuff, I am going to give you 8 oxen and 4 wagons. And to those of you who are responsible for the actual tent itself, I am going to give you 4 oxen, 2 wagons. And for those of you who are responsible for the furniture part, the spiritual artifacts, the spiritual components of it, I'm not going to give you any. I'm not going to give you any. Now, that kind of provokes a few questions. The first one is, how fair is that? Why was that fair? The second one is, why did these last guys get no cows? And then the third one is simply, can I actually do what God is calling me to do? Let's look at this concept of how fair was it. Because what you see is Levi's got 3 sons, but one of them gets twice as much, one of them gets half as much, and the other one gets none. And in this space, we often look in on these things and we think, oh, that's so unfair. And I don't know whether at the moment you're looking at other dads or at other people around you and going, oh, that's just so unfair. They've got this and they've got that and all these sort of things. And if only I had what they had. And this is the risk. The risk we face as dads is we run comparisons. We run comparisons because we'll look at social media and we see their life and go, wow, I don't have anywhere near as exciting life as that. No, they're giving you what they want you to see. Don't be fooled by things like social media. It's a snapshot of what they want you to see. Here's what I want you to catch. It didn't look fair. It didn't look like it was right. You know, I remember someone when I was probably in my 20s, and this person could not handle birthdays for their kids. In fact, they would give gifts to all of the kids on someone's birthday because they couldn't handle that. It looked unfair. I mean, it's just weird logic to me. It looked unfair that that child was getting a gift on that day. And so what they do is they'd want to play fair. So they'd buy a present for the kid, and then the other kids would get a little something so they didn't feel left out. And I kind of think, yeah, I don't know how that works, because there's this concept of fairness. And I was just like, you have to be kidding me. Now, if I could roll my eyes, and I'm not really good at rolling my eyes, my daughter did not learn her ability to roll her eyes from me. Let me just put it to you that way. And so if I could roll my eyes would roll at this parent had to play fair, what looked like fair all the time to the kids. You see, God isn't motivated. Let me just make this point to you. God is not motivated by what we think looks fair in our eyes. In fact, in Matthew 20, verses 1 through to 16, Jesus tells this story. And in this story, he talks about those that have labored all day and get a day's wage. But then he talks about those that have not labored all day, come at the end of the day because they had to take care of their family all day, and they would come in and they would have some work, but because of the love, because of the grace and the mercy of the owner, would get a full day's wage. It didn't look fair, but God isn't worried about what looks fair in that sense. Sometimes things can be unfair. I wish I had that person's gift. I wish I could do that, or I wish I could do that. Hey, let me tell you, you have a gift that is for you. And that gift for you is not just so you can feel better about yourself, it's so that you can contribute to the whole. I want to encourage you, every one of you has a gift. Stop comparing your gift and the way you are built to that of somebody else. Again, this comparison of fairness becomes a challenge. You know, sometimes when we look in on other homes, or we look in on other businesses or other churches, things may look unfair and we feel the stress of this unfair. But the question is not whether something is fair. The question is it right to do? Because we've got to be able to get beyond what looks fair and understand why it was done. And in this story, I want to talk to you about the fact that Moses had a really good why. Why he gave Gershon and the Merarites different to what he gave to the Kohathites. Why did he do something that looked to be tremendously unfair? Well, that goes to the second question. Why were there no cows? Why were there no cows for the Kohathites? Why didn't Moses, give them cows to the Kohathites? He didn't give them any. Not one. They had to carry all of the artifacts and the spiritual symbols and so on. They had to carry it all themselves. See, the Merarites had the structural stuff, holds it all together. The Kohathites had the systems, which is the tent. The Gershonites, but the Kohathites were responsible for the spiritual. They were responsible for the vision. They were responsible for the mission. They were responsible for the values. They were responsible for the spiritual why component. And here's the point, and I want you to catch this. It says very clearly, let me go back to it here. It says very clearly here, Moses didn't give anything to the Kohathites who were responsible for the spiritual things because they had to carry the holy things for which they were responsible. They had to carry it on their shoulders. The reason that Moses did not give the oxen and the carts to those responsible for the spiritual matters is because he wanted the Levites to remember this. The spiritual matters rest firmly on your shoulders. Let me say this to the dads and to everyone who's watching. Spiritual matters cannot be outsourced. Spiritual matters cannot be outsourced. The responsibility for the spiritual tone, for the spiritual understanding, the responsibility for carrying the spiritual rests firmly on my shoulders, on my wife's shoulders. And as my kids become adults, their spiritual state now rests on their shoulders. You cannot outsource it. Let me give a couple of examples. I've used this before. I don't send my children to a Christian school because I am outsourcing their spiritual development. I think there are some parents who do that. But I want to remind you, God did not give you the school as an oxen and a wagon with which to carry the spiritual. It rests with you. You are responsible for the spiritual side of things. You know, I don't outsource. Let me say it to you this way. I don't outsource the spiritual. I do not outsource the spiritual to our youth program. I want them to be encouraged. I want them to learn. I want them to grow. But the primary responsibility for the spiritual growth sits in the home. Now, if you come from a home that doesn't talk in spiritual terms, then you can have a spiritual father, a spiritual mother, someone in your world who's a mentor and a coach that helps you discover how you keep the spiritual on your shoulders. So when we look at it, was it fair? It wasn't about what was fair. It was about what was right. Why didn't he give them any cows? Because he did not want them to outsource. And you see this over and over again in Scripture. God says, you don't get to get somebody else to carry your spiritual state. You don't get to outsource. You don't get to give it to anyone else. It lands on your shoulders. It lands on your shoulders. Today, dads, I want to remind you and encourage you, and for some this is a challenge, I understand that. You can spend so much time on the systems. You can spend so much time on the structures and the plans and the things that are happening in our home. I want to encourage you. God is giving you and I a new opportunity every day. His mercies are new every morning. There is an opportunity every day to edify. And I think he's edifying. He's building you up to say, I will take responsibility together with those that are in my home, but I will take responsibility for the spiritual things that happen in our home. I think sometimes we need to stop, and maybe this is a reflection point that you can take out of this message. Here's almost a call to action or a call to reflection. And stop and consider, what things am I directly responsible for, and what things can I outsource? What things can I get others to help me with it? But what are the things that I am called to carry on my own shoulders? I want you to catch this, that God has called you, and he has gifted you, and he has enabled you to carry that responsibility without that responsibility crushing you, but just with this sense of what an honor it is. Dads, mums, all of us that are older and leading in any context, what an honor it is to carry the spiritual responsibility. Now here's the challenge. We stop and we ask, can I do it? Is this possible? Is it possible for me to actually pick up and to carry that? And again, if you don't have a dad in your world, or this morning you might be a single mum, we want to honor you and just simply say to you, the principle still applies. I want to say this, can I even do it? I'm busy. I'm under pressure at work. I work long hours. And there could be this question, can I do it? Am I equipped? Do I have enough? Do I have what it takes? I want to say a resounding yes over you to that question, do I have what it takes? Because here's what Jesus said. Because often we're looking for Jesus to do it. Jesus says, you can. If you can. He says to the dad over this son situation, if you can. I want you to catch what Jesus is saying. He's saying all things are possible to them that believe. Philippians says it this way, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Let me say to you, dads, if you're feeling like, can I do it? As you lean into learning the life of Jesus Christ, as you lean into being empowered by the Spirit of God, you have got what it takes to take the spiritual responsibility and to lead with courage, to lead with conviction, to lead with passion, those spiritual things, because you cannot give them to someone else. To all of our parents, mums, dads, everybody, to our young adults who are not yet parents, but they are establishing themselves in life, in your careers, in your friendship circles. The moment that you get into adulthood, you become responsible to carry the spiritual things. But that should not produce fear. That should produce an excitement and a passion to lean into the things of God and say, hey, I know I can do it because I can do all things through Jesus Christ who strengthens me. And Jesus said to this dad, man, it's not whether I can, if you can. And it's possible to those who believe. You see, Moses did not ask the Kohathites to do something they couldn't do, and God is not asking you to do something you can't do. It's not how he did it. God will never put you in the position where he asks you to do something you can't do. What we need to do is discover what we already have. We need to discover the beauty of the grace of God. We need to discover the fact that I have the strength of Jesus Christ empowered by the Spirit. We need to make that discovery so that when these things are sitting on my shoulders, it's not a weight that is pulling me down. It is life. And there is a joy and there is a fun because that responsibility is met with, catch this, is met with the sustaining presence of the Holy Spirit, the power of God, and you, my friend, have got what it takes. Don't be discouraged. Grab a hold of that responsibility as a tremendous privilege before God. Don't be discouraged. What a privilege. What an honor. What a joy. And what does it take from us? It's about being focused into the life of Jesus Christ. In him I live and move and have my very being. So, to our dads, to our mums, to all of our parents, I just simply want to say this to you. What an opportunity you have right now to just reflect, to assess and say, these are the things I'm going to hold on to. This is what I'm not outsourcing. This is the spiritual responsibility I have in my home. And I'm okay with that being on my shoulders because Jesus said that burden is not a heavy burden, it's a light burden. Come unto me, all you who are heavy laden, and rest in me. And as we learn of Jesus and as we understand what he's done, we come to a point of rest. Now we can carry that moving forward. To those dads who are already doing that, we are cheering you on. To those dads right now who are saying, maybe I've got to tweak this a bit, we're cheering you on. To those dads who have never heard this before, but right now there's a sense within you that you need to pick this up, we are cheering you on. We are cheering you on. You have the strength to carry what God has called you to carry in spiritual responsibilities as you take it serious. You lean into learning about Jesus. You lean into the power of the Holy Spirit and the joy that now parenting becomes. It's just such a joy. It is such an honor. It is such a privilege. It is such a joy. So you might be young. You might not have kids yet, but I want you to say, learn this principle now. You might be a young adult who's married and you don't have kids yet. Learn this principle now. You might be a father of little kids and you're busy with life. I still want to encourage you. You've got what it takes. Learn this principle now. You might be a father of adult kids. And whilst you may not be carrying their spiritual responsibility, you still carry the weight and responsibility of prayer and encouragement and impartation. And I want to encourage you, if your kids are adults, do this now. And for the granddads, the grandparents, the grandmothers, those that are of an older generation, you have a responsibility to encourage, to build, to support, to cheer the next generation, to help them frame life out of your experience. You have got what it takes. Don't outsource that spiritual responsibility to anyone because you have got what it takes. And Jesus is looking today. Let me talk to the dads for a moment. He's looking today and he's saying, dads, in that moment of feeling overwhelmed, like this dad was, in that moment of feeling under pressure, in that moment of, wow, I've got so much on. Wow, look at what's going on in my life. Jesus just says to you today, Dad, he says, you can. all things are possible to them that believe. I want to speak faith and life to you dads right now. And I want to speak a love. We honor you. We thank you for your work. We thank you for your commitment. We thank you for everything that you do for your families, for the church, for your businesses, for our community. We just want to honor and thank all of our dads right now. Take a moment to just say thank you. Whether you're watching online or whether you're sitting in a room with someone, if you are around your dad some point today, take the time to say thank you. Thank you, Dad, for what you've done. Thank you for who you are. And not about your dad being perfect or you being perfect. It's simply about recognizing that I am going to carry this and I'm going to cheer on those that also carry this too. Dads, we honor you. We love you. Big shout out to all of you. God bless you all. I want to finish by saying that our kids have been watching and learning how to make bacon and egg sandwiches. Kids, in a moment, we're going to play that again so that you will be able to possibly even do this with Dad. Make him a little bacon and egg sandwich. If you can't do it now, you can pick another time to do it. But we want to see our kids become and continue to be the blessing that they are to our dads. So let me just say this over the dads. Thank you for being with us. Have a fantastic day. And again, if you are reflecting on your father who's already gone ahead, I pray that the joy of God would sustain you as you reflect, that the peace of God would overwhelm you as you reflect on your own fathers and situation with him. So over our dads and over everyone, but if you'll allow me, specifically over our dads, dads, I pray that the Lord would bless you and that he would keep you. Dads, I just pray that Lord would make his face to shine upon you and be gracious to you. Dads, I just want to pray this over that the Lord would lift his countenance upon you and give you peace. Happy Father's Day. Crack out some more dad jokes. Love you lots. We'll talk to you next week.